protraction against gravity. So patient sits down and tries to shrug shoulder to ear, and I push down. Okay, stop. Scapular elevation, gravity eliminated. Support under patient's shoulder. I'm gonna palpate
Trapezius.
the upper traps.
Yeah.
And patient brings shoulder to ear.
Okay, this is scapular depression, only tested and gravity eliminated. So you're going to have the patient put the back of their hand on their back to find the inferior border of the scapula.
Or shrug shoulder.
Yeah. And then you're going to cup the inferior border of the scapula and palpate the latissimus dorsi, and you're going to tell the client to reach to their shoes. Perfect. Start an elevation for that one.
This is scapular adduction, retraction for middle trapezius. So the client's going to start facing down. One arm is at 90 degrees over the table. And then one of my hands is going to press sort of their scapula. And then I'm going to push down on this arm. So you're going to push up. Don't let me push down.
That's against gravity.
This is scapular adduction retraction against gravity for rhomboids. So the client's gonna have their arm on their back like this. One hand is gonna be on this side of the scapula, and the other hand is going to be on the elbow over here. And you're gonna try not to let me push down, push up.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So this is scapular adduction / retraction for gravity eliminated middle trapezius and rhomboids. Two of your fingers are going to be on the lower scapula at the rhomboid, and one of your hands is going to be supporting the elbow, and you're going to just reach your elbow back. Or you can palpate the middle traps. Okay. Scapular abduction, protraction against gravity. Patient lies supine, flexes elbow in, touches shoulder, and pushes elbow up to the ceiling. And apply resistance. Scapular abduction, protraction against gravity, or gravity eliminated. So put your hand out in front of you. I'm going to support under her elbow and palpate her serratus anterior, and she's going to reach forward. Okay.
Shoulder flexion against gravity. So patient's going to sit and put arms straight in front of you. You're going to support the top of shoulder and distal end of humerus, and patient is going to lift arm up to the ceiling. You're going to apply resistance. This is shoulder flexion, gravity eliminated. So you're going to have the patient sitting with their arm alongside the body sideways. You're going to support under the elbow and palpate the anterior deltoid, and you're going to have patient lift arm up to their head.
This is shoulder extension against gravity, so she's gonna have her arm out by her side, and I'm gonna apply resistance at the distal humerus, and Ava's gonna move her arm backwards. Yeah. Okay, this is shoulder extension, gravity eliminated. She's gonna have her arm out at the side, and I'm gonna support under her elbow. I'm gonna palpate her lat, and she's gonna move her arm backwards.
This is shoulder abduction against gravity. So the patient has their arm to the side, and you're going to push down on the distal end of humerus while the patient tries to abduct their shoulder. Go ahead. Shoulder abduction, gravity eliminated. Patient is laying supine with arms straight out. You're going to support under the elbow and palpate the middle deltoid, and you're going to have the patient bring their hand up to their head. Ooh.
My joint.
Yeah. Okay.
Shoulder adduction, gravity eliminated only. I'm gonna palpate the pec major and apply resistance at the distal humerus as she brings her arm towards her body. Go ahead.
This is shoulder horizontal abduction. So the client is laying down like this with arm over this, like the whatever. And you're gonna have them lift their elbow to the ceiling while applying resistance to the distal end of the humerus. Go ahead. Perfect. Shoulder horizontal abduction, gravity eliminated. So the patient's gonna sit like this, and you're gonna support under the elbow and palpate posterior deltoid, and they're gonna move their elbow backwards.
Shoulder adduction against gravity. So put your arm up. I'm gonna palpate the pec major, and Ava's gonna try to put her arm across her chest. And I'm applying resistance. Shoulder horizontal adduction, gravity eliminated. The patient sits out with their hand at 90 degrees, and I'm gonna palpate the pec major, and the client's gonna move their hand across their body.
Support under the elbow.
Support your elbow.
Okay, this is external rotation against gravity. So patient's gonna have their arm hanging out at a 90-degree angle off the table. You're gonna hold their forearm and distal humerus, and they're going.
Opposite. Go ahead.
Okay, flip it around, but then put the palm towards the ceiling, and I'm gonna apply resistance. Okay, that was fun. External rotation, gravity eliminated. You're gonna palpate the infraspinatus, which is just right by the scapula, and the client's gonna have their arm hanging off the table straight, and you're gonna have them turn their forearm towards the floor. Like, turn their palm outward. Just like that.
Shoulder internal rotation against gravity. Patient has their forearm hanging off the table, bent. And I'm going to apply resistance at the distal forearm as the patient brings their palm towards the ceiling. This is shoulder external rotation, gravity eliminated. I'm going to palpate the posterior axilla or the pec major. And the client is going to bring the arm, neutral. And you're gonna turn your palm forward. Yeah.
Elbow flexion against gravity, so I'm just gonna hold her shoulder and her forearm right here, and she's gonna try to bend her elbow up. Perfect. Okay, so elbow flexion, gravity eliminated. You're gonna support the anterior biceps as well as the elbow and distal humerus, so you're gonna have the patient bend their elbow.
Elbow extension against gravity. Have patient hold their arm off of the table at 90 degrees, and I'm going to support under the arm, and the patient is going to try to straighten their arm as I apply pressure. Okay. Elbow extension, gravity eliminated. Patient holds arm at 90 degrees, and I am supporting behind the elbow, and patient is going to try to open arm up.
Elbow pronation against gravity. Patient's gonna start sitting in supination like this, and I'm going to hug her and sandwich her hand, and she's gonna try to attempt to put her hand in pronation. Okay. Elbow pronation, gravity eliminated. Patient's gonna start like this, and I'm gonna support under her elbow and her wrist, and she's gonna try to turn her palm away from her face. Elbow supination, we're going to have the same exact stance. The patient is sitting. You're going to have them start in pronation. You're going to sandwich their hand, and they're going to attempt to against resistance. Elbow supination, again, gravity eliminated. They're going to have their arm like this in front of them, support under the elbow and the wrist, and turn your palm towards your face this time. Okay.
Wrist extension against gravity. I'm going to support under her arm, and I'm going to apply resistance on the top of her hand while she tries to extend her hand. Okay, this is wrist flexion. Same thing. I'm going to support under the arm and apply resistance below the metatarsals, and she's going to flex her hand. Okay. This is for wrist flexion and extension, and gravity eliminated. So I'm going to palpate the muscle bellies of her forearm. And for flexion, and support under the wrist. For flexion, she's gonna flex her hand. And then for extension, obviously, extend hand backwards.